Jeffrey is extremely talented. Y'all don't give her her props. Y'all don't give her her props enough for me. Season 1 and 2 are written and directed by different people. Oh, and it shows. It shows badly. Just like, Wicked World really got me in my feels. Wicked World has me in my feels. What? It really is off-putting how so many of these characters speak in heavy ebonics, heavy slang, and barely any of them are black. Like, let's just move on. Let's just not think about it too much, because if you think about the sentence a little too long, you're going to be very, very confused.
When the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping. It's my scene, my scene. You know what I mean. It's my scene, my scene. You know what I mean. My scene. We talk, babe, to each other each and every day and all through the night. I bet your time and time again. Always just a little more than friends. You say yes, but love is much less. Your actions louder than words.
Please don't follow me. Okay. That's not open up for me. Alright. Can we begin? Can we begin? Hey y'all, it's Harryanna and I'm back with another video. Welcome to the pirate ship, Harry Hook's pirate ship. Remember, I'm the captain. You are not my first mate. You got that? You got that? Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. One of my 2020 goals was to talk about cartoons a lot more. Because people starting to think that I have a bias towards live action, and I really don't. I prefer cartoons all the way. The main reason why I've been talking about live action stuff so much is because I always get asked to, but this year I want to do more of what I want to do. So I thought for the best way for me to start talking about more cartoons is to talk about the Descendants animated series. One, because I don't see anybody talk about it, and two, I'm like the biggest Descendants stan ever. And what better person is there to take on this show to review than moi? I know, before we get into it, we gotta do the promo and I gotta do my outfit of the day. Yes, I don't know what's... Leave my braids alone. I know they look a mess. They were cute a few days ago. It's been a mess. They slid down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to put a headband over it to cover it up. I'm sorry. And then I'm wearing my Very Joe hoodie. We love Joe over here. We love Joey over here. Whew. Like I said, if you don't like my self promo, you know you can always skip. I'm not putting a timestamp there just because I'm being mean. You can always skip it. But yeah, before we get into it, yes, I am starting my own merch line. Speaking of merch, I'm starting my own. So yeah, harriyannahook.com. Go subscribe to our mailing list. Follow harriyannahook on Instagram. That is my shop. Next, we have Patreon. I post a lot of exclusive behind the scenes content over there. You get access to my Discord. You get early access to all my videos. You get sneak peeks of the progenies and things like that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun on Discord and Patreon. Please go support if you can. I try to keep the tiers as cheaply as I could. And last but not least, please go support the progenies, because the progenies is yeah, this show is part to blame of why we're making this show. We want to portray these characters in a more positive and a more diverse light. Not really positive, but I say a more realistic light. So yes, please go support the progenies. I am done with the self-promo. We can get straight into today's video, because today's video, y'all, I was going through it. I was going through it getting this video together. Like, really quick disclaimer, this video is not meant to attack anybody. I know what I say can come across as very, very mean and mean-spirited, but this is just strictly my opinion and my constructive criticisms on why I think season 1 is bad. Keep in mind, season 1 is the season that I think is bad, because it's a lazy, cheap cash grab. That is my opinion on season 1. I do have different opinions on season 2, but we will get into that later. When I was 16, I discovered a little something called Descendants that ruined my life forever. I just had to pay my rent for my storage. Oh, Oh, I just got a notification about that. Ew. But yes, I'm pretty sure everybody that watching me at this point knows about Descendants because I talk about it so much. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people only know what Descendants is because I told them by force. I told them by force, but my internet friends, they all know what Descendants is by force. Now, this is racist and the fans are no better, but for those of you who don't know and never seen my face a day in your life, hello, I'm Harriyanna. I'm on Harry Hook's pirate ship and so are you right now. I'm gonna tell you a little background you need to know before we get into what came about of Descendants Wicked World. I'll give you a quick rundown of the hot mess we are about to get into. Descendants, also known as Disney's Descendants, is a franchise from Disney that is about the children of well-known Disney characters and figures. The first book takes place on this real dirty island that the Beast from Beauty and the Beast created for all the villains to go live on in poverty. And yeah, you know what adults do when they get together. They had children and then the kids were suffering for their action. So that's just a summary of the first book called The Isle of the Lost. Then what the events that take place after that is the movie Descendants, where basically in Descendants, the son Ben, who is the son of the Beast, he pulls just because my dad is racist doesn't mean I'm not. And yeah, he brings some of the kids from that dirty island over to live in the land called Oradon. I don't know how they came up with the name Oradon. I'm just obsessed with Oradon. I think I'm obsessed with the concept of Descendants more than the actual story itself. You know what? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Basically, we all know Descendants was a hit. By Disney standards, it was a hit. And it was also claimed to be the next High School Musical. Before y'all get into it, I don't care what none of y'all say. High School Musical is very mediocre. It is. And I'm not saying that Descendants is any better. I'm not saying one is better or worse or anything because at the end of the day, it's Disney Channel. But y'all hype High School Musical up too much. It's not that great. It's not that great. The story is mid. The songs is what make up for it. I feel like y'all like the songs of High School Musical more than y'all actually like the plot. Y'all like the songs. You like the aesthetic. You like basically the aesthetic more than you like the actual movie. Also, unpopular opinion, my favorite's the third movie because it actually felt like a real movie. The first two movies didn't feel like movies. I don't know why. They just don't. Anyway, back to Descendants. Disney did heavy marketing for Descendants, so it's no surprise that it did well. Not too long after the movie was out, Disney announced that there will be a spin-off animated series based off Descendants called Descendants Wicked World. It takes place after the events of the first movie. Wicked World, you can either just call it Descendants Wicked World or Wicked World, or some people just call it Descendants the Animated Series. But for the sake of this video, it could be a bit weird to say. I'm just going to say Wicked World. And the reason it's called Wicked World because it stems from a line in Rotten to the Core, a song from the first movie, where they say, "Welcome to my wicked world." So, yeah, the thing about it is that it doesn't really make sense why the show is called Wicked World because 90% of the time they're at Oradon and the Isle is referred to Wicked, the Wicked World. I don't get it. Let's just move on. Let's just not think about it too much because if you think about the sentence a little too long, you're going to be very, very confused. So after the release of the movie and the book, I read both. I watched the first one probably like 5 times up until this point because I was just in love with it. 16-year-old me was really lonely and sad, okay? 16-year-old me was really, really lonely and sad. I was excited for the show, okay? I was excited for the show. Remember, I was 16 years old. Wicked World takes place after the events of the first movie, and at first you can tell they were just going for a kids doing stuff at boarding school type show, but then in the middle they realized they wanted to do a plot. So yes, the best way to sum it up is just kids at magical boarding school. That's just the best way to sum up what the show is overall. I'm sorry y'all, my nose is starting to itch me. I didn't take my allergy medicine, so it burns. If my nose turns red, I'm sorry. I don't have my tan. I need to start hanging outside again. It sounds like a really cute show, doesn't it? Season 2. Season 1. Anyway, Disney is a hot mess. Descendants may have that adult audience, and you know, Disney appreciates their adult audience because they are the main ones that give them the shmoolah, the money, the shmoney. But Disney knows how to remind you that their content is made for kids. And will this show really show that it is made for kids? Because it's so weird because I went into this video just going to rant about how terrible this show was. But something happened and changed that. So before I decided that I wanted to settle down and make this video, I had only seen season 1 of this show and I strongly despised it. I decided that if I was going to do a review of this show, that I should watch the entire series. Yes, this is shade to you, Mr. Enter and Alex Mayers. I personally believe if you're going to review something, you need to watch the entire show. It's different and you're just doing your insight and thoughts and things like that. But if you're doing like a full-on review, you need to watch the entire thing. So many people hate this series, and I personally think part to blame is because of how bad season 1 was. Season 2 is bearable. I'll be honest, it's pretty good, but so many people don't know that because nobody gave season 2 a chance because season 1 was so trash. Like, everybody saw season 1 and they dipped. They dipped and I dipped too. I was one of them. I'll admit it. I ain't perfect. Now, I wanted to do this the bougie way and watch it on Disney Plus. And basically, you don't know what Disney Plus is, which I really, really do hope you do. It's basically a streaming service that is a waste of money unless you like Disney content. Everybody that has Disney Plus knows that the app kind of sucks. It actually really, really sucks, especially on the Roku. And it kept freaking crashing. So I had to do it the ghetto way and go on YouTube and watch it there. On the Disney's Descendants YouTube page, they uploaded all the episodes, but they divided them up into 4 parts. Part 1 and 2 is season 1, and parts 4 and 3, why did I say that backwards, are season 2. Season 1 and 2 are written and directed by different people. Oh, and it shows. It shows badly. Badly. It doesn't even feel like the same show. And the reason season 2 is much better because they put more effort into it. That's the way it's looking. I personally believe season 2 was better than season 1 because a lot of season 1 was just filler to the point where a lot of it didn't make sense, while season 2 was just more of a story, and almost every event that happened in the season connected to the plot in some kind of way. I'm going to discuss seasons 1 and 2 separately when it comes to story. Please be mindful that a lot of my critiques from this show really stem from the animation, fashion, musical numbers, and atmosphere. Because we gotta talk about the atmosphere. It really took everything out of me to rewatch season 1 of this show because I really, really didn't like it that much. But then I remember it really takes a lot to make a show, no matter how good or bad it is. So I always try to find some good within the bad. Y'all know I always do this when I do my bad reviews, where I talk about bad things. I always try to find something positive in there. So yes, I am going to be hating on season 1, but I will praise it in some kind of ways. Because like I said, I always try to find the light in the darkness. Now this is just all, I'm about to get into my issues with both season 1 and 2. Overall, this show is a bit of a struggle to get through because not only is it like season 1 just trash, it just don't look good. I'm sorry. I'm really not a fan of television CGI 3D animation. I'm not really a fan of CGI animation in general. I'm more of a hand-drawn girl. Like, I just gotta talk about this animation. It's just really ugly to me. I don't know why. I just find it really ugly. And like I said, many people that know me know that I'm a huge fan of the 2012 version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And boy, I hate the character design so much. I'm not a fan of the 3D CGI animation on television. I'm just really not here for it. I'd rather see it hand-drawn, please. My nose is killing me. This is what I get for not taking my allergy medicine for 2 days. This is what I get. It's obvious that Disney did not put so much money towards this show's animation. because the body movements and the facial expressions just feel really weird. Like, they're stiff. Like, there's a scene where Lonnie, who is Mulan's daughter, is hip-hop dancing. Don't ask. I'll get into that later. And it looks really off. It's like really uncanny because it looks like she's struggling to get through it the entire time. Like, she looks like she's kind of in pain. Like, her body movements aren't fluid, if that makes sense. Another issue with the animation. Why does Audrey look so white? Why does Carlos look so white? Why does Jordan look so white? Why is Freddie literally a shade darker than everybody else? Like, she looks pale too. Like, they literally did not put much effort when it came to skin tone for this show. And also just character designs. They put little effort into the boys' designs than they did the girls. The boys all look so ugly in this show, but the girls were cutie. They were like cuter cuties. No, don't say that. Like, the girls, their designs were a lot cuter than the boys, while the boys were just kind of dull, if that makes sense. Like I said, the overall designs were ugly, but it's kind of an eyesore looking at the dudes for a little too long. And the thing about it is that the boys are barely in the show anyway, so I feel like that's why they didn't really put much effort into it. In season 2, they did make Audrey tan, like how her counterpart in real life who played her, Sarah Jeffrey, is. But, like, why did it take y'all half the show's run to fix that? Yo, my nose is freaking killing me. I'm sorry. Like I mentioned earlier, Carlos's character design is just freaking atrocious. All the boys are. But I do like how they actually did add his freckles in. But, like, it's kind of like the Rapunzel thing. You're not gonna catch it unless you're looking for it. Mal, I can actually tolerate her in this show. She's not terrible. Season 1, she didn't really bother me too much in season 1. Season 2, I cut her some slack because she was under a spell. She was cursed. Yeah, this version of Mal is pretty okay. She's just kind of dull for the most part, but because I hated her so much in the books and in the movies, I just didn't care too much for her. So if any of you guys are looking for a version of Mal that just won't get on your nerves, I do recommend her in Wicked World. Do I recommend the show? We'll get into that later. The series really could do without all the musical numbers because they all suck. I'm sorry. They were just really weird, really out of place. They just didn't make sense and they all just came out of nowhere. The dance moves were weird. The facial expressions just weren't hitting. The show really could have did without. And the sad thing about it is that the music that they were playing, they technically weren't bad songs. They really should have just been playing in the background of the series instead of having the characters performing them. But it's just a big no for me. All the musical numbers are just one big skip, in my opinion. The fashion's atrocious. I'm sorry. I can't. The fashion's just really ugly. That's just a big issue I have with Descendants in general. It's just really ugly and I just can't get with it. I just really couldn't get with it whatsoever. It's like, less is more. Just because it's animated doesn't mean it has to look a hot mess. Less is more, Descendants. Less is more. Like I said, everyone looked a mess, but I'm sorry, y'all. Jane got it the worst. Y'all just look.
Well, I'm really very new to this whole magic thing.
Where are her edges? Like, where are the edges? Like, I'm telling y'all, they were so lazy with season 1 of the show. It's really bad. Speaking of season 1, we're gonna get into my issues with the first season. One has to be Evie. She is trash in season 1. It really hurts me to say this because people know that Evie's one of my favorite characters in Descendants. Like, I'm freaking playing her. Evie really is out of character in this series. Like, I'm like, Evie would not do that. Evie would not say that. Like, yeah, Evie is a pretty girl and things like that, but she was just a bitch. Like, I just couldn't do it. I just really didn't like that. And I really hate to call Evie that because I love her, but that's what she was in this show. That's what she was. Like I said, and it wasn't just Evie that was just mean. Literally everybody in season 1 is a dickhead. Everyone's a dickhead at some point. Everyone is just really mean-spirited, and it gets old quick. It's not funny. You know how all the characters are really mean and out of place, where they're just acting how they don't? So much in season 1 just didn't make sense. It's like so much of it was like really fast paced that they weren't putting a lot of thought into what they were doing. Like, it's two particular scenes that really bothered me. We gotta talk about this damn pumpkin car scene. I am so sorry.
I know, and we've been working so hard to get people on our side. If you ladies don't get in here, I'm going to turn into a pumpkin.
That doesn't even make sense.
Your hair doesn't make sense.
What makes you think that all them bitches can fit in that tiny ass car? They can't! It doesn't work. They all could. They'll all probably crash and die, but no. And the annoying thing about it is that it didn't even show any of them getting into the car. Literally, it just cuts to the next scene. It's stupid. They spent most of the time arguing about the car too. So I was just like, okay. Oh my god, the awful talent show scene.
You two sing together.
A VK? Are you magical? Do sprout horns, just how evil are you? I don't think I can sing with her. If I hit a wrong note, she might turn me into a frog.
Never. I'd just shrink your head like my last partner. I wear up first.
Sorry. Let's go. But they're already... Now, Lonnie.
Gives me a headache. It makes no sense because before the talent show, it didn't even know you were doing a talent show. I thought they were doing practice or something. These hoes was over here arguing about who was gonna do what with who. I don't want to sing with her. I don't like her. You get on my nerves. Your mom's evil. I just don't like you. It was just a lot of she say, going back and forth, and then next thing you know, all these hoes pop up on the stage together and start singing and performing for the crowd that you didn't even know was there. It really is, like I said, it's stupid. Like, it makes no sense, and all the musical numbers make it worse when they put it out there out of nowhere. It's actually a really cute song. It's just the dance number really ruined it. None of the jokes in season 1 are funny. A lot of the jokes depended on people just being mean. But they weren't funny. I didn't giggle until season 2. Now we really gotta talk about this black scent issue. This season 1 had a really big issue with using heavy AAVE. If you don't know what AAVE is, like I said, it stands for African American Vernacular English. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'll put it across the screen just in case I'm wrong. But people were trying to say that this is Stan Twitter language, this is Gen Z language. No, we always been talking like this. It really is off-putting how so many of these characters speak in heavy ebonics, heavy slang, and barely any of them are black. That's the really weird thing about it. And then they're speaking in black sense when they are talking in, like, when they're saying these words. And one thing that irritated me so much is that Jordan, even though Jordan is not white, she's also not black. Why did you have this non-black girl teaching two other girls ebonics? I did not like that. I didn't like it whatsoever.
I don't know why you guys are throwing your shade.
Shade?
Throwing shade is like talking trash with your eyes, darling.
Like, the use of heavy AAVE makes me want to jump out the window with this show. Like, it was so uncalled for, so unnecessary. And I found it, me as a black girl, I found it really offensive. I always try, like I said, I always trying to find some good in the bad. So there is some good to this show. CJ Hook is great. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know that I am Hook family trash. Literally, we are on Harry Hook's pirate ship. Remember, I'm Harriyannahook. I'm married to Harry Hook, okay? Like, I don't care. I love CJ Hook. She was just a fun villain. She didn't really do anything. I really wasn't convinced that she was all that evil. She was just kind of there being funny and whatnot. She literally has one of the best voice actors whatsoever. Literally one of the best voice actors. And that's another issue that I did run into with season 1, is that the voice acting was really off-putting because it was really lazy. It sounded like the cast didn't want to be there. Some of the characters' acting was better than others. The thing about it is that these aren't really voice actors for the most part. But I feel like because the script was so kind of difficult to work with and nobody really knew what they were doing, that's why the voice acting was really weird. CJ's great. Love her. Freddie Facile is great. This is like the introduction of her character. I don't know. I just really like Freddie. I love Freddie. She's like, I think I'm biased to her because she's a black girl and we did get monoracial black girl representation in this show, even though she was pale as a mother. But anyways, but Freddie is pretty fun for the most part. Audrey and Jane are great. I'm sorry. Unpopular opinion. Audrey and Jane in Descendants Work It World do much more for me than it did in all 3 movies. I'm sorry. Here, I was just tired of seeing Audrey in pain, and it was just nice to see Jane just do something. It was just nice to see Jane just do something. Like I said, I hate seeing Audrey in pain. She was in pain in the first movie and in the third movie. It was just a nice change. Sarah Jeffrey, great voice actor. Sarah Jeffrey is extremely talented. Y'all don't give her her props. Y'all don't give her her props enough for me. But yeah, for the most part, Audrey and Jane are just pretty fun here. And yeah, like I said, I just like seeing Jane do something where she actually has confidence, because this weak girl act was not hitting for me. It was not. Now we gotta get into season 2. Before I even begin, yes, I am aware Gabe Duncan is in season 2, because I know somebody is gonna leave a comment down below talking about, did you know Gabe Duncan from Good Luck Charlie does the voice of Zevon? Yes, I know he's Zevon. I'm mad that his name is actually pronounced Zevon, by the way. I'm really mad that it's pronounced Zevon. It would look and sound so much better if it was pronounced Zevon, but they went with Zevon. I don't know why. Disney, what made y'all think that that name was okay? Season 2 is drastically better story-wise. Remember that. You want to know why it's drastically better? Because you can actually comprehend what's going on. And not everyone is being a dickhead. I really appreciate that. Like, it's like everybody was just so catty for no reason in season 1. And here they just calmed it down by like 10 notches. It really improved this series. Like, not everybody has to be mean to get a good laugh out of it, because most of the jokes that I was laughing at didn't come from them being mean, them just genuinely being funny. Like, that's my big issue with season 1 of this show, is that a lot of the humor just stemmed from insults, and I didn't like it. Season 2, Evie is back to normal. She's back to her sweet, caring self. We love that. I was just so angry. Like, she was so out of character in season 1. Season 2, she's back to normal. Like, how she is in the books and how she is in the movies. Yep, that's Evie right there. That is Evie right there. Now, I did mention how the character designs were a bit weird, but they actually put more effort into the facial expressions this season. Like, you could actually tell if a character was sad, angry, or just hurting. Like, you could really tell that they actually put effort into the characters' faces this time, and I love that. You can tell that they were angry, scared, and sad for the most part, because season 1, it just showed them happy all the time or expressionless. Here, you actually see their faces move. And that is like another reason why season 1 was just so hard to get through, because you really couldn't tell how the characters were feeling, because a lot of them just had a straight face the entire time. But I feel like another reason why they actually had more than one emotion this season was because season 2 stories is way darker than season 1. Like, it's to a point where it's kind of depressing at one point. I was just like, Wicked World really got me in my feels. Wicked World has me in my feels. What? Y'all, my nose turning red? Y'all, I can't do it. But because of the shift in the show's direction, where they decided to go darker with it, it makes sense why they made this decision with the animation. The thing about Wicked World Season 2 that I really liked was that it slowed down. Like, nope, the same time length of the episodes happen. Also, season 2 is significantly shorter than season 1 by a while. I'd say it's about 10 minutes shorter than season 1. But even though it's still in the same time span, it's paced a lot better. Because they slowed down. They weren't always trying to do something every few minutes. They just let the scene sit sometimes. And it really helped you process everything that was just going on. And it helped you feel for the characters. Like, they actually took the time to move the story along without filler. And it's just not so quick jumpy. And that's one thing about a lot of like animated shows that get on my nerves is that a lot of it is just moving too fast for me, and when they actually slow down, I appreciate it, because that's the one big issue that I have with Miraculous Ladybug, is that the show don't know how to sit. And it also had a really pretty strong ending. You know, your typical Disney Channel cheese. Do you want it in Parmesan or do you want it in white cheddar? I don't know. It's Disney Channel cheese. It all makes you feel good at the end of the day. The villain gets what they deserve. Everyone makes up and apologizes with each other, and they all live happily ever after. It's also a bit kind of sad when you finish it because of how much emotion they put into this season. And it kind of stung when it was all over. I think it's just because I'm a Descendants stan. It hurted a little bit because I literally put off watching this season for about 3 years because Wicked World finished up in 2017. I literally put this off for about 3-4 years simply because I hated season 1 so much. And I really do regret me not watching season 2 until yesterday morning. I really do regret that. Like, I went into this video going to make an ongoing rant about how much I despise this show and how terrible I thought it was and that Disney should be disappointed for it. But no, it actually got better, and I am angry at myself for not giving it a chance. Also, Evil by Dove Cameron slaps. I don't like her, but y'all know I pay my respects when it's due. She went off. She went off. She did what she had to do. In conclusion, overall, it's just obvious that Descendants Wicked World was a cash grab. They knew people, including moi right here, the pirate right here, they knew that we were desperate for more Descendants content. They knew we were hungry and thirsty for more. We just wanted to be fed, and they gave us something. They didn't care if it was good or bad. They didn't care if it was good or bad. We didn't care if it was good or bad. We just wanted something. Story-wise, season 1 is very rushed. Season 2, great story pacing. There was a lot more effort put into season 2 than season 1, and it really did show. And it's extremely sad how terrible season 1 is because it stopped so many people, including me, from giving season 2 the light of day. Also, another reason why I believe that this is a cash grab is because this messy series also has a doll line and a book series. And if you don't want to look at the ugly animation, I do recommend the book series. I do own a few of the books. I own CJ Hook's book and I own Freddie Facilier's books. They're really, really cute, nice little kid books. And also, like I said, you don't want to look at the hideous animation. Recommend getting the Descendants School of Secrets books. That's what they're called. That's the book series based off the Wicked World storyline. Is it worth the watch? Where I tell you guys if I do recommend this or not. To be honest, if you're not a Descendants fan, no. It's not. You're probably not going to be interested because it's so obvious that this was just meant for Descendants fans. Like how all the SpongeBob movies are obviously meant for SpongeBob fans. Like if you're not a fan of SpongeBob, you're probably not going to care too much for it. If you're not a Descendants fan, you're probably not going to care about Wicked World. Also, if you're not a fan of CGI 3D animation, no. If you are a Descendants fan or you are interested in watching this series, don't watch season 1. You can literally look up what happens in season 1 and then just go to season 2 because I really don't recommend anyone watch that mess. CJ Hook makes an appearance in season 2. There. You do want to see CJ Hook? She makes an appearance in the second season, okay? Don't waste your time watching the first. She's great in the first, but please don't. Don't do my dog like that. Season 1 literally is a waste of time and will piss you off. Season 2 is superior. When it comes to story, remember that. When it comes to story, if you can set aside the stupid musical numbers and weird animation in season 2, you can get through it if you just want a good story to tell. Your thoughts on Descendants Wicked World. I really don't see too many people actually talking about this show. I just say people talking about how it was bad. But I genuinely want to know how you guys feel about this show. All 4 parts are available to watch for free on YouTube. If you could, please go take a look at those. Part 3 and 4. Don't watch part 1 and 2. And let me know your thoughts on this series. Get the discussion popping in the comments down below, please. Ow. I'm trying to get the logo in here. Also, don't forget to subscribe to me if you like this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Please go subscribe to my store's mailing list at harriyannahook.com. Don't forget to follow my store's Instagram, harriyannahook. Don't forget to follow my personal Instagram, my personal Twitter, and my personal Tumblr if you want to keep more in touch with me after this video. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this journey of me talking more about animation because I love cartoons and I love watching them and I love how they make me feel things. I love how they make me feel things. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly am appreciative of every last one of you. Like I said, love you all. Thank you guys for watching and have a good night.
Just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA. The Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.